everyone. You're listening to Words About Books. I am Nate. Of course, as always, I'm joined by Ben. And I don't know what we're talking about this week, but I hope it has something to do with my dream a few weeks back where I talked about Naruto for 3 hours straight on this podcast. So, that's, I don't know what that was. Is that what we're doing, Ben? We're talking about Naruto? Because I got some thoughts.
What if I told you a nine-tailed fox is involved?
Okay, you've got my interest. Does a great hero emerge to seal it inside of his newly born son, and then, like, everyone just treats that son like dog shit for, like, the first 14 years of his life?
No, quite the opposite. In this story, any man is treated better than a daughter. They definitely would have bound it inside a daughter in this story.
But that would be giving that daughter too much power, right?
Well, yeah, they do a bit of that too. That's actually going to be the premise of the book. So we're doing kind of a we're not doing Naruto.
Oh.
If you want to do Naruto, I have another podcast where I talk about anime crap. Though this is anime adjacent.
Words about anime, yeah.
That time I got reincarnated in the same world as an anime podcaster.
Yeah, that's what it's called. So we have completely burnt ourselves out on the House of Leaves episodes, of which there are 3.
I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a 4th one by the end of the year, Ben.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
I'll give this hint. So far, only 1 or 2 people have found episode 2 of House of Leaves. But it does exist, and the clues are there in House of Leaves Part 3.
And it's totally worth it, I'm sure.
I can also confirm that neither of those people have listened to it the full way through.
It is as worth it as if you were to decipher House of Leaves on your own.
It is a perfect metaphor for the book.
So after we burned ourselves out, we decided to read a children's book, but we haven't done that yet.
Yes, we were having a photo finish recording, and I was actually over the deadline editing House of Leaves because, believe it or not, it actually took a lot of editing because I was recording my audio inserts on the spot.
What audio inserts?
Oh, that's right. No, I'm sorry.
You were adding in
I had
totally real person.
His
experiences with our podcast.
If anything, he was adding me in.
That's oh my god, you're blowing my mind.
Yeah.
So what are we doing instead of Naruto or Minecraft?
This is going to be a relaxed episode. This is not a book we necessarily intended to cover, so Nate has not read it, and we're not going to go too incredibly deep on it. But today we were talking about a young adult book I read in between some other stuff called Iron Widow by Xiran Jay Zhao. I am very sorry if I mispronounce any of the Chinese names in this book. It is not a language I'm very familiar with, and I do my best. This book came to my attention because I actually have watched a lot of the author's YouTube videos. They do a YouTube channel where they talk about different pop culture as it relates to Chinese history and culture topics. I think their video on Mulan was probably my entry point.
What did they have to say about Mulan? This is actually going to be important later.
So they were talking about mostly the live action Mulan, and they talked about the cartoon a little bit as well. But the one thing that stuck with me that I actually knew the whole time, but I never really put together, was that, in the cartoon, Mulan cuts her hair.
Yeah.
But in that time period in China, men followed the Confucian teaching that your body was a gift from your parents, and so you shouldn't change it or anything about it. And so all men actually wore their hair long. They never cut it.
Yeah, but did Disney know that?
Obviously not. Or if they did, they were just like, yeah, it doesn't matter. People won't get that. that's how I came to this. I found out that Zhao was writing a book. The book was described as Handmaid's Tale meets Pacific Rim with polyamorous representation.
A polycule.
There is a relationship between three characters.
A polycule.
Yes. Fine. Yes. A polycule.
Great. All right.
I'm trying to describe it. So a polyamorous relationship could have n number of individuals. So I'm trying to tell you that this polyamorous relationship has three individuals.
Doesn't it have to have where n is greater than 1?
Yes. Well, n is greater than 2.
N is greater than 2.
Yeah,
that's right.
I'm not here to mathematically define a polyamorous relationship. I'm just trying to tell you this girl has 2 boyfriends and they're each other's boyfriends. So
okay,
that's what we're doing here.
And I just want to reiterate one more time because I'm sure James is listening. It's polycule, a word he hates.
Oh, why does he hate that?
I think it makes him cringe.
Oh, I don't know if that's actually what they're called. That's just what
they are now.
Okay. So anyway, that's what attracted me to this. When I hear Handmaid's Tale meets Pacific Rim, I'm in. It doesn't take much more than that to get me to read a book.
Sounds incorrect. Sometimes it costs like $11 to get you to read a book.
Well, I guess it depends on the book. But has any of the books you've paid me to read featured a polyamorous giant robot fight?
I could find it, I'm sure.
Can you?
I don't know.
Okay.
Can I write you one?
Yeah, are you going to finish that erotica sometime?
I'm working on it.
Okay. So, yeah, I guess I'll walk you through the basic premise of this story. So, What you got to know about the setting is that this is a world based on, I think, like early medieval Chinese culture. And the main character suffers through like a foot binding and the Confucian long hair stuff for men. So it's that kind of aesthetic. And then there are aliens attacking.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the kingdom. And the way they fight these giant kaiju aliens is they have managed to kill some of them, and using their corpses, which are made of something called spirit metal, they were able to construct their own giant robots powered by chi to fight the giant aliens that attack them. And the way these robots are piloted, you need a yin and yang pilot. You need a female and male duo. And the male is always dominant because we are told men just have naturally stronger chi. And if a male pilot is significantly stronger than his female co-pilot, she will die while piloting it. Her entire consciousness will be absorbed into his being, and then when they disconnect, the body dies.
And he'll become like even more buff.
I don't think it enhances them in any way. I think they just wind up with a tortured woman screaming in their psyche for the rest of their life.
Okay, all right. So there's literally no upside for anyone here.
The upside for the male pilot is that they are treated as like rock stars. They get to live in the best houses. They get all the money they can spend. They have an average life expectancy of about 25 years old. But yeah, some of them do get to retire. That's the little carrot they dangle out. If the pilots are evenly matched in terms of strength, that's what's called
polycule.
No, that's what's called an iron something or other.
Iron curtain?
I forget what it's called.
Shoot. You're really letting me down here.
I know. I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't planning on talking about this book. Well,
you talked about it with me.
They call I forget what they call them, but they call them a stable match. Future Ben here. They're just called balanced matches. I think I was trying to make this more interesting than it is. They call their partner, Iron King, Iron Queen, but yeah, it's not some kind of iron match. It's just a balanced match. So I couldn't think of the answer here because I was making it up, apparently, in my memory. So there you go. That's what that is. And the guy becomes the Iron King, and the female co-pilot becomes his Iron Queen. Okay. And this book, as you might have noticed, is called Iron Widow. So that's a little foreshadowing.
So you talked about this with me before I even realized that you wanted to talk about it on the podcast. And I think I asked, can just anyone pilot these?
You have to have... They're basically power levels. I think they call them chi scores, but the anime it wears its anime influences on its sleeve. You have to be
at least around a Vegeta in the Saiyan saga.
No, dead serious. Zhao is not making any secret that they are influenced by anime. The anime influences are there.
Okay, but back to the question. You're saying they have to have a certain power level to pilot these.
You got to be at least a Yamcha.
Okay.
You got to be at least a Yamcha to even get in one of these things.
Are those common? I mean, Yamcha, even though he's like the little bitch of the protagonist, he's still like one of the strongest humans on the planet.
Right. So they're not super common. That's why these people are so well paid. And
so that led me to my next thing, which was, if they're not really common, it's really stupid that they would just sacrifice their women for, like, no gain whatsoever.
Well, you see, you have to.
Do you?
No.
It sounds like you can have an even match and no one has to die and you preserve your pilots.
An even match is rare.
Okay.
Because men just have such strong chi. Right?
So find weaker men. Or stronger women. I don't know.
So it's sus. It's a little sus.
So when you say it's sus, is that even true, Ben?
No, it's not true. We find out no, that's a lie.
So
it's a conspiracy.
So why? So why are they just like killing their pilots? Why are they killing their female Yamchas, of which there are a limited supply?
Well, they're not just killing their female Yamchas. They're also killing their female Vegetas. Maybe not their female Vegetas. They're also killing their female Tien.
Krillins and Tiens.
Yeah, they're also killing their female Piccolo.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they actually throw out some pretty strong women just because those women would upset the male-dominated society. If you can have these, if you can have female saviors,
you need them to pilot the mechs. Like, you can't just have one dude in there.
But if we had a female savior, then we might move towards gender equality, and that cannot happen under any circumstances.
Not even like the threat of extinction by giant kaiju monster.
Nope.
Okay, so we hate women more than we hate living.
We hate women more than we like living.
There's a faster way to accelerate both, right? You just kill all the women and then wait for the kaiju to come eat you. Problem solved.
Well, no, see, we like women, but not for, like, saving us.
Okay.
Unless they're your mom.
Okay.
And you're a child. Everyone in this book, except two guys, hates women. But also the protagonist kind of hates women. We're going to come back to that.
Okay.
so let's start.
Real quick, one more thing. Was there ever like some sort of like horrible affront that women committed in this world? Like, did they side with Sauron or something? And,
no. I mean, Eve ate the apple,
so it's basically it's our world, but like really leaning into that hatred of women, even though we could go extinct.
And well, okay. So the thing you got to understand is
That like all the generals are fucking stupid.
Well, yes, they are. I mean, that's the thing.
Okay.
You need to place this book in its context. Okay. So
All right.
it is a YA novel.
I don't know anything about this book, so okay.
It is very, very like the Hunger Games. That level of there's a high reality distortion bubble here. Okay,
that's fair.
It's very much like charged with adolescent rage, and so imagine you are a young woman.
Okay.
Maybe you've experienced some kind of just trauma, some kind of misogynistic trauma, and you're just angry at how easy it is for men to get away with anything. And so you imagine a world where there is this just absolute misogyny. It's not a nuanced take on misogyny. It's not really interested in talking about any nuance for misogynists. It is about the fantasy of punching your oppressors with a giant robot.
Okay.
Let's talk about our protagonist, because
let's do it.
Our protagonist is based on China's, I believe, only historical female emperor. And her name is, and I'm sorry, Wu Zetian. And Zetian she starts off the book, she is motivated by the death of her sister, which happened off screen. She had an older sister who volunteered to be a female co-pilot, and she was not absorbed by her male counterpart. She was, in fact, beaten to death by him before the fight even started. So this guy's real bad.
Yeah. So he beat her to death before going into battle with kaiju monsters.
Yeah, he was just an abusive piece of shit.
And like just okay. All right.
Yeah, no,
just a piece of shit. You're right.
We're not overly concerned with survival. We're concerned with preserving the patriarchy at all costs.
So
if you're going to take issue with that, this is going to be a very long book.
I probably will, but like, you know what? Just let the kaiju win at this point.
Just let the kaiju win.
Just let the kaiju win. What the fuck?
Okay, so.
All right. Reel me back in. Let's go.
I'm reeling you back in.
So protagonist's sister's beaten to death just because she had 2 X chromosomes.
We have no idea why she was beaten to death. We never
can guess. She had 2 X chromosomes.
Possible. We don't know anything about her. And that is kind of a problem, as she is the protagonist's main motivation. The protagonist is going to sacrifice her life, her family's lives, everything for revenge. And she is motivated to hatred for her family. She will not forgive her family for just forgetting about the death of her older sister. Basically, the family views it as the older sister did her duty by the family, but because she was beaten to death, because she didn't get to participate in the battle, they denied her pension for her family, so they're mad about that, but not as mad about the death itself. So she's going to get revenge. She's sick of this society. She's done with it. She's applying to be a pilot. She wants to become that guy's co-pilot, and she's going to kill him.
Okay. I'm on board with this so far. Guy sounds like an asshole and needs to be taken out.
Yeah, and he pilots the giant Ninetales robot. So all the robots...
Okay.
All the robots take the form of like mythical creatures and such. And so he's piloting a giant Naruto fox.
So you're basically... So it's not mechs versus kaiju. It's like robo-kaiju versus kaiju.
Yeah. And they can also morph into like a humanoid form, and they get weapons. They get big weapons like Evangelion or Gundam.
Do they call down the Megazord sword or whatever?
They never team up into one big robot. Maybe that's coming. This is going to be a trilogy.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
There's at least a sequel.
Okay. Well, then you gotta go for trilogy, right? You can't stop at duology.
No, only some kind of chump like Thrawn would do a duology.
Yeah, Thrawn's fake imitator guy.
Yeah.
So, okay.
That's how you knew it wasn't real Thrawn. It was only a duology.
Yeah, Thrawn's at
Thrawn
least
would have lasted
one other
3
book
books.
of growth. Yeah.
At the start of the book, she's got a boyfriend, kind of a boyfriend, more of a will they, won't they kind of thing going on here.
I'm going to guess they will, because you already told me that they will.
Yeah, they will.
Nice.
Guy's name's Yiji, and he...
Like Yeezy?
No. Maybe it's Yiji. I don't know. Yeah, it's... Okay, so she's dating Yeezy.
Okay, good.
She's dating Yeezus. Yay. Kanye West, you know. But yeah, she's not dating him, but they're very close. They're like best friends, and he kind of wants to, but he's rich. She's poor. She can't shake the feeling that he's just using her. He's kind of delusional.
For what? What would he be using her for?
Just sex. Like, he's just promising he's going to be with her, and then...
So they're already together.
No, they're not.
It's a will they, won't they, but they're fucking.
They're not fucking.
But
I'm saying that's what she's afraid of. She's afraid that if she...
So they're not fucking, but she's afraid that if she starts...
That the whole reason he's flirting with her in the first place is because he just sees her as like an easy conquest.
But how long have they will they, won't be-ing?
Years.
So she's not an easy conquest.
True. They're also like 16.
He's just looking to stick it in. Okay, they're 16.
Yeah, they're not like in their 30s here.
I was gonna say, like, yeah. I mean, I was thinking like mid-20s. Like, you know, if he was just looking for a fling and you weren't going for it, he'd just move on. But okay, all right.
No,
So
they're basically they're teens, they're kids, and neither of them has ever had a serious relationship. I don't think so. He has helped her out a lot. He taught her how to read. He gives her access to a lot of information she wouldn't otherwise have.
Yeah, and he's just going to use her?
She likes him, but she is so single-minded in her revenge that she won't let anything distract her. And she is so mistrustful of...
some Rin flavors here of just angry, vengeful, murder, hatred monster? Is that... That's like the thing that readily pops to mind?
Far less nuanced than Rin.
Oh my god. Okay, but you know what would make her better than Rin?
What would make her better?
Does she constantly think about, like, is she gonna shatter if she goes through with this vengeance, or is she all on board with,
she is all the way in.
Okay. You know what? I say that is an improvement. Just lean into the violence.
No, she is committed.
Hatred.
She has accepted that society is going to see her as a horrible person. She does not give a fuck. She's going to kill everyone.
Okay. Again, if you just wait a little bit, the kaiju are going to do that for us when we run out of women who can pilot our mechs.
She's not, like, completely sociopathic. She doesn't want to destroy humanity. She specifically targets the people like, who have, like, personally wronged her.
I'm just saying, like, if humanity is more concerned with gotta have men on top than, like, the kaiju that are going to kill us all, like, why not just, like, off humanity? Like, we're done.
So she starts off the book with the intention of she's going to get recruited as a pilot, and she's going to kill this guy, and then she's going to be killed immediately for her crime.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't really have an end game here. She's just...
So that's the end of the book then, huh?
That would be the end of the book. But the problem is, so she goes to get selected as a pilot, which she does. She has a very high power level.
She's like Vegeta then, or like even Goku.
Yeah, she's a Goku. Yeah, she's Goku.
And they're going to be like, we got to find a way to get rid of her. We can't have someone that powerful piloting our military mechs that we need women for.
She doesn't test into Goku tier right off the bat.
Oh, she's got to train. She's got to go into the gravity chamber.
So there's literally numbers assigned to this. Would you like me to give you numbers? There literally is a power level. I'm not making that up.
Yes. What does she start out as?
So I think the average human scores like 60-ish, and she scores somewhere in like the 500s.
Oh my god. Okay.
I'm fudging the numbers a little, but I'm getting you in the ballpark. The top guy, the like biggest, baddest ass of them all, he scores He scores like in the 10,000s, maybe the 20,000s.
And
So that's
he still can't pilot the mech on his own, though.
no.
Can 2 women or 2 men pilot it?
Oh, okay. So that's an interesting question. So she does ask that of the rich boy Yiji who's helping her, and he says she asked the question as, "What if somebody doesn't identify particularly male or female, or what if somebody's like trans?" And he says that they would then probably go into whatever seat they lean towards.
So it's not the biological, it's the societal is what
It's
you're
the
telling me.
yin and yang. It's your soul. Like what characteristics of yin and yang? Because like yang is fire and yin is water. Are you hot-blooded, hot-tempered? Are you cool, calm, and collected? Like, there's more to it than just gender.
And sex does not come into play at all, it sounds like.
They haven't explored that topic fully yet, but they introduced the possibility for it. This society, I gather, is not one that really has much patience for the LGBTQ spectrum.
No. But, okay, so that is a good question then. A non-binary is what?
I don't know.
You just don't get signed up?
I'm going to assume they will address that at a certain point. I mean, if you've noticed, Xiran Jay Zhao uses they, them pronouns. They are non-binary, so this is a question I'm sure they have thought about. I think the first step in the series is Zetian needs to establish herself, and then once she takes control, she's going to reform this piloting system, and then we're going to see what the reality of the situation actually is.
She'll be like, you know what, I was leaning non-binary all along, and she'll just push the 2 chairs together, and she'll pilot the mech from like a sofa. Or does it always have to be 2 people? Like, if you have a non-binary, do you need another non-binary? I'm assuming I'm asking questions that haven't been answered, so
they haven't been answered in this book, but there is an interesting thing in that there will form a relationship between Zetian, Yiji, and a third guy named Li Shimin. And
is she gonna get her polycule together to pilot a mech with 3 people? Oh
Yes.
my god, and that works?
Yeah, so
What? Okay. You're blowing my mind here, Ben.
Li Shimin takes the yang seat, Zetian takes the yin seat, and Yiji acts as a chi battery. So he basically gives them his chi, and they are able to fight at a higher level as 3 people. And that is uncommon because they have tried putting more people in a cockpit, and that usually screws things up.
Well, yeah, probably because those people are like women-hating man beasts.
They definitely are.
Yeah, you can't put a third person in there. It confuses them because piloting a mecha is between a man and a woman, as God intended.
Piloting a mech is a sacred bond between man and woman. Yeah. Long story short, she gets accepted. Yiji makes some last-ditch attempt to talk her out of it. Doesn't work. Blows
So
up in his
Yiji
face.
is totally like the sub in this polycule.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, Yiji is a pretty boy. He's a scholar. He's
man,
like thin. And
I want to beat him up and take his lunch money.
No, he's like thin and conventionally attractive. He has very smooth skin, very nice hair.
I want to beat him up, take his lunch money, and then ask him out on a date.
He's actually probably my favorite character, though. He's very relatable. He's easily the most nurturing of the 3, and that's a very low bar. But he's definitely the nicest person. Like, he's the one you'd want to hang out with.
Okay.
He's the one that's not going to try to kill you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sold.
Yeah.
So I'll stop interrupting you for a little bit, let you get with your summary. So she's a pilot now.
Yeah, and she winds up assigned to the fox guy, and she gets sent up to him, and he's got like a whole harem of women, like disposable
Obviously.
women that he's gonna.
Obviously.
Yeah, but she gets sent up, and they're like hanging out. But then they're hanging out, and like she's afraid she's gonna have to sleep with him. Her plan is she's got a pin in her hair that she's sharpened into a knife, and she's gonna stab him while he's asleep. But then the alarm goes off, and they got a pilot.
So I assume that the harem are not pilots; they're just women.
No, they are. They're all pilots.
Oh, well, what? Okay, all right.
But she's the one that's on hand.
Okay, I was gonna say, why is she the one who's selected? That makes sense. All right, so we gotta do a reverse Naruto and seal ourselves inside the fox.
Yeah, so they go into the fox, and they're doing this battle, and she gets in the yin chair, and she's sucked into like his mindscape. And she sees him as a crying child that is like seeking for her to comfort him. And she is able to retain enough of herself to remember that she is in his mind. This isn't real. This is him as a child. Yeah. And so she walks up to the child and she strangles him.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and just chokes him to death.
Oh, jeez.
And then when she kills the child self, she's sucked into the yin-yang realm where both of their consciousnesses are there. And he's like, oh my god, how did you get here? And he's got his spirit metal armor on, which allows him to project chi and like have super strength and stuff. It's like a little exosuit.
Okay, all right.
And so he's
I
fighting
can get behind
her.
That.
Yeah, so he's beating the crap out of her, but then she realizes this is all in your head. She can have a chi suit.
Yeah, the chi suit was in you all along.
Yeah, and so she frees her mind like Neo, and I think strangles him again.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so she kills him. So she takes over
and then she wakes up inside the mech and strangles him again.
No, she rises.
They go to his funeral. She strangles him again.
She rises to the conscious level and is piloting the nine-tailed fox, and so she's got to get her shit together real quick and finish this like fight against the aliens.
So was he the one piloting before?
Yeah, he was in total control, and she was just in a support role, and that's how it always is. And we'll find out that the seat system is very specifically designed to ensure that always happens.
So not like Pacific Rim necessarily, because that was all about cooperation.
I have never seen Pacific Rim.
Oh my god, Ben. You made me think you were some sort of expert.
I've seen a lot of kaiju movies. I enjoy Super Sentai and Ultraman. I don't know anything about Pacific Rim. I know Charlie Day's in it.
Okay.
I understand it's not dissimilar to The Handmaid's Tale. So,
what about Atlantic Rim?
So, we always do that. We always go so, and then the next thing. So I'm just going to try starting this with like a sentence, like a writer.
Kapow!
Kapow, blam, blast! She's piloting the mech. She kills all the aliens. She saves the day. And then everybody's like, oh my God, who is it? Blah, 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 blah. She disconnects, right? And when she disconnects, she absorbed his consciousness and he dies in real life. The mind
Does she
made
strangle
it real.
him just to be sure?
No. What she does is, I think she might make like a little chi suit. I don't know how she does it. I think she makes a little chi suit. Anyway, she opens up the thing so that all the cameras watching the match can see her. They got cameras, by the way. It's kind of like
it's a gladiatorial duel?
It's viewed as like a sporting event by all the people.
Okay, so that's not... Okay, all right, maybe this explains a lot of things.
I mean, it's life or death, but they're watching it as entertainment.
Like this kaiju could be the end of our civilization, but like, god damn, it's so engaging.
The robots almost always win.
Almost always.
And if they don't, you're not going to do anything about it. You might as well just enjoy the show. It's like a nuclear bomb. If you're a mile from a nuclear bomb, just set up your lawn chair and watch the lights.
Will do.
I live near 3 Mile Island, so that's not an unrealistic proposition. Yeah, so she opens up the door, and wheels this guy's body out, stomps on it, and goes, "I am your nightmare. I am going to fucking change everything, bitches." And
the man and the woman hating society didn't just like shoot her on the spot. Like,
didn't shoot her on the spot. They were very confused and taken aback and wanted to know what was going on because she did win the fight. And so they arrest her and do a little light torture.
As you do.
And they try to decide what to do with her. They ask for a battle report. They get the battle report of what happened from a bunch of people. There's 2 strategists that see this as an opportunity to take back their lost territory. They have found this very powerful pilot, and they intend to use her. Not all the strategists see it that way. The majority of the strategists do not see it that way. So compromise.
Those 2 strategists were in California and Texas, so they had the majority vote. So like,
it not unlike that.
Get bent, idiots.
They have enough power that they're able to keep her alive. But she winds up paired with Li Shimin. And he...
That's the 3rd member of the polycule.
Yes.
Okay.
He is the opposite of Yi Ji in every way.
He's her.
He is jacked. He is a big, beefy, hairy-chested, hairy-faced.
He is Giga Chad.
He has short hair, which means...
and he's got a beard, and he's smiling. And
he does.
Oh,
and
my God.
He's all scarred up. He's a prisoner. He's in prison because he killed his family, which is like, even by her standards, that's crossing a line. Like that in Confucian society... That's the greatest sin.
But he's fucking jacked, number 1. Number 2, that's just a side effect of Alpha Chad.
He's also an alcoholic.
You gotta, well, okay, that's a sin right there. You don't want to mix alcohol with your Alpha Chad.
You will die. You will die immediately. They put her with him. He consumes every woman who's ever been with him. No woman survives flying with him.
This isn't the tippy top.
This is the tippy top. This is Goku.
Oh, okay. This is Goku.
Yep. Yeah, they're putting her with him, which means it's basically a death sentence.
What's the point? Like, why wouldn't they just kill her instead of putting her in this thing? Because like, it's not like he absorbs her essence to become stronger.
The 2 strategists are gambling, I think. This conversation happens a little bit behind the scenes, but based on what happens later, I think the 2 strategists that are on her side a little bit are gambling that she might be a balanced match for him. She might be strong enough to balance him out. And if they are a stable pair, then they've got their weapon to take back their lost territory.
But I thought the robots win the majority of the time.
They win the majority of the time, but they're not facing the bulk of the alien threat.
I see. They're fighting.
They're facing like scouting parties.
Okay.
Yeah. So I gotta stop doing that.
So
they put her in with him, and yada yada. Balanced match. They're a balanced match. She tries to. Yeah, she tries to strangle him, but he's a little too strong. He pushes back.
His neck is so thick.
Yeah, she survives the fight. It's weird. They like wrestle for control of the robot. She hates him.
Turn to a wrestling match. Go on.
Yeah. So she hates him because he has killed all these women, even though he's a prisoner and he never chooses to pilot. He's always forced to pilot. And she's really mean to him. Like,
yeah, what a dick, being forced to kill people. Hate that guy.
The book, I will say this, the book does make you not like Zetian for being mean to him.
Okay, so this is intentional.
Yeah, this is her, and she will eventually apologize to him for it and admit she was wrong.
Oh my god. She's way better than Rin. Oh. There's like some growth here, and
I've seen a lot of comparisons between this and the Poppy War, and The obvious reason for that is they're both Asian-inspired English language fantasy books. They are not that similar.
I'm only comparing them because that was the first thing that came to mind when you told
angry...
me about a rage monster who just wants to kill everyone.
Yeah. Well, the Poppy War is almost more of an egalitarian society. I mean, like, men and women both can get into Synagard.
Yeah, we could talk all about the Poppy War and how that is. But yeah.
I like it. Anyway, this is not really that much like the Poppy War, but there's a lot of comparisons. There's a lot of people saying this is better. In my opinion, Zetian is a more likable character than Rin, if not a more complex character than Rin. I think Rin, up until the third book, Rin was a pretty interesting character who had a lot of nuance and complexity. Zetian is not that. She is 100% your murder the patriarchy fantasy, which I can get behind.
That seems fine to me for what the story is going for. When you're in a Looney Tunes world where people will just like kill women because
when you're in a Looney Tunes world. Okay, bizarrely, the only two people that are going to help Zetian in her quest to change the piloting system and make things more equal and fair to women. And in fact, right now the deck is completely stacked against women. That's what we're going to find out. So the piloting system is totally rigged.
So like real life is what you're telling me.
Yeah, well, they have the yin seat set up to just basically be a chi magnifier. They're not really supposed to control. It's harder to control one of the robots from the yin seat because they literally just don't install as many connectors.
Oh.
So you're trying to like pilot with fewer nerve endings, essentially. It's completely stacked in favor of the guy.
Okay.
The only two people that are going to help her change this
are two guys.
Are two dudes.
Who are also gay? I guess
yes.
They're bi.
They're bi. Yeah, they're bi.
That's really convenient for her. And for them, that worked out really well, actually. So why are those two dudes interested in each other when they're like polar opposites?
Okay, so here's the interesting thing. Yiji will use his connections to get into the strategy team that is managing Zetian and Li Shimin.
Okay, so he's like super connected, like
yeah, he's crazy well connected.
He's like the son of like the president and a well-known general at the same time.
He's essentially the son of the guy who controls the media.
Oh my god.
He starts researching Li Shimin, and he becomes kind of infatuated with what he reads.
I know.
Finds
Have
out,
you seen that guy's fucking sculpted body? God damn. I'm just picturing Giga Chad.
Li Shimin is half... I'm pretty sure the analogy here is Mongol. And because of that, he experienced a lot of racism. People assume the worst of him. But in spite of that, he was actually a rising intellectual. He studied very hard. He did calligraphy.
Are we going to learn that his family was killed and he was framed?
No.
Oh.
He had a bright future. There was a girl he liked. And one day, I think he pissed off his sibling, and his brother rapes the girl.
Ooh.
And he killed his brother.
Oh.
When his father tried to intervene, he killed his father.
And then he offed his mom just 'cause?
I think the mom was already out of the picture.
Oh, that's really good for him, because it would be bad if he killed a woman.
Yeah, I don't think they made him kill his mom. That's
okay.
No. His mom was not there for whatever reason. I think his mom might have been the foreign half.
Ah.
So, yeah. So Yuji realizes that this guy's really complicated. He has this tragic backstory.
Oh, God. Sorry.
Yeah, and he's
going.
Well, he's really into it. Like, so their attraction kind of makes sense to me.
Oh, man, I'm really into it. He's dark and brooding, but you know deep down he's a really nice guy.
They also find out...
Fucking jerks!
They also find out that the alcoholism is a purposeful tactic. He was, like, basically force-fed alcohol as a means of addicting him and making him dependent on the prison guards. It was easier to control him by giving him an addiction than it was...
I don't know. I don't know. If I were trying to get someone addicted to something, alcohol would not be on my list.
I agree that
I'd
was
be
a
like,
weird
I'm
choice.
getting the heroin out. We're getting
which they
fucked
have,
up.
which is why it's a weird choice. Also, with the history of opium, it's a weird choice. I guess it's harder. No, it's
I
not.
wonder if they have read the Poppy War and were like, maybe I don't do that because then assholes will compare me to that forever. Oh, look, too late.
Well, you'd be wrong because Zetian is wounded and she is given a morphine drip, and Yiji quietly tells her, "You're gonna want to refuse anymore." Because he suspects, probably rightly, that they are trying to do the same thing to her.
So, yeah, why alcohol? I don't know.
I have no idea.
It's not that big of a deal. So
The alcoholism isn't like well portrayed. There's something I should mention at this point is that
the author is 10 years old and
no. The pace of the story is breakneck. I mean, it is.
I mean, yeah, you're breaking necks. You gotta go, man.
It is really fast. It is. The writing style is very blunt. There's a lot of, I feel this way, I need to do this, so I do that. This happened, then this happened, then this happened. It's just very blunt. There's not a lot of nuance. There's not a lot of subtlety. And I think at a certain point it starts suffering for that. The book really is putting a lot on its feminist message, but the feminist message flounders a little. It never fails. It's never awful. Almost every interaction she has with a woman in the books or in the book is a disaster.
Okay.
One of them, she has a rather pleasant interaction with one female pilot. There's two other female pilots, two other Iron Queens, who are in a balanced match, so they're not in any danger of dying.
We can't have that.
She tries to make friends with one of them. That interaction leads... No, in fact, that woman bounces her head off the floor and tells her never to speak to her and never to talk to her male co-pilot again, because the last time they were piloting, her male co-pilot was thinking about Zetian. Yeah, a little bit of that going on there. So then the other one's very nice to her in a way that is kind of like, obviously she's going to be the one to betray her in the end.
What?
Yeah. So yada yada, the three of them start living together.
Polycule.
Yeah. Yiji is helping Li Shimin get off the sauce.
Get off? Yeah.
He's helping him do that too. Not quite
right.
yet.
He better
Not
be.
quite yet.
Oh.
They're the last two to hook up. So,
What?
Yeah, Yiji.
But they're the
hooks
ones
up.
I most want to hook up.
So at this point, having sacrificed almost everything for her, Zetian is pretty sure he's not just fooling around here.
Who would have thought?
And they hook up.
And then afterwards, he's like, "All right, cool. I'll call you in the morning." He just leaves.
He just never. No,
it was the long con.
She makes a deal with Yiji's dad. His dad is a total scumbag, by the way. Shocking.
What, the guy who controls all the media is a scumbag?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What is that?
He's a total scumbag, and she makes a deal with him that he's going to promote her and Li Shimin. They are this underdog rogue pair. They're a balanced match. She becomes his Iron Queen. They do like this big Hunger Games style. You know, in the Hunger Games where they get to the rich district and it's this fashion show and everything's hyper like.
Did you read the Hunger Games?
Did I read the Hunger Games?
Yeah.
I watched the movie.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I was a little old for the Hunger Games when it came out. My sister read it.
I read the first one. There you go. Anyway, so they do a fashion show?
Yeah, essentially. They do like this big debut. They do all these public events. They get a lot of publicity. They're kind of
the woman who publicly proclaimed that she was going to be the end of us.
They're literally playing her as the heel. It literally reads like a wrestling script. They dress her up in like they give her like the 9 tails ears. People think she's some kind of
demon
fox spirit sent to kill men, and she leans into that. And Li Shimin, they make him look all buff and rugged and tough.
God.
And
yeah, he's the baby face then.
Well, she's definitely. They need to make him look powerful enough to control her, even though they know, like, behind the scenes, that is absolutely not what's happening. Li Shimin is essentially indifferent to his own fate. He's a very sensitive guy, and he doesn't want to hurt anybody. He especially doesn't want to hurt women, and he is sorry about all the people
women he was forced to kill.
Yeah. That weighs heavily on his conscience, and every time she insults him for that, he's just like,
I never asked for this.
No, he's always just like, well, always good talking to you, and leaves the room. He never fights back. He never engages. He never yells at her. And she's always afraid he's going to hit her. He never does. She's always afraid he's going to yell at her. He never does. And eventually you're very much on his side. You're like, maybe cut this guy a little break. He's not had the easiest go. You find out when you get thrown into prison, they take half your liver and one of your kidneys automatically. What? People need organs. They can sell those. You're property of the state.
Okay. I would appreciate it if you didn't.
Yeah, he would too.
Can I keep that?
Yeah, and he was also drinking like a fish on that.
Damn.
So he's been mutilated. He's been every kind of like dehumanized, every kind of psychological torture he could undergo. And eventually she's like, yeah, I might not have been entirely fair to you. And eventually they hook up. And then shortly after they hook up, then Li Shimin and Yi Ji fall for each other.
They complete the polycule.
Yes, they complete.
Yeah.
They complete the triangle.
Yeah. And it's a happy ending.
It's not the end yet.
Oh. Okay.
That's not the end. Yi Shimin pilots the largest mech, the Phoenix. The Poppy War comparison is justified here. It's the Vermilion Bird, I think is what they call it. The Vermilion Phoenix or something. Anyway, they're able to take it to like level 2 where it turns into a humanoid thing and pulls out a big bow. And it can start like shooting chi blasts all over the place. This is what you're here for. This is what
you did actually tell me that the fights are actually pretty well done.
Yeah, no,
which is good because sometimes fights in books could just be really long and drawn out.
The bluntness of the more emotional, more intellectual parts of the book is off-putting, but the battles, that style works very well for. It's over the top in all the right ways. I really do like the battles. And I'm looking back on them fondly. I gave this book kind of a middling score.
All right, so you gave it a poor score because you're a bad person.
I didn't give it a poor score.
Now they're using a fucking vermilion bird and wrecking some face.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Okay.
So in light of all of this, the government finally approves the take back of the territory. They approve the mission.
Okay.
But it's a setup.
It was a double or possibly triple cross.
Just a double cross.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a double cross.
Was it that girl who was obviously going to betray her? Oh, son of a bitch. I knew it all along. Yep. What happened?
So after they beat up the two big aliens, by the way, the two big aliens psychically project into her thoughts and are like, fucking humans, scourge of the universe, leave us alone. And it's like, oh, that doesn't sound right. That's not what I expected the aliens to say. Humans, scourge of the universe. What does that mean? This is after we're told that there are gods you can send the very valuable spirit metal to, and they'll send you back blueprints on how to make a microwave.
Okay.
So,
okay.
They're obviously like humans in space.
No, that checks out.
Anywho, yeah. And then, so they get betrayed. The Vermilion Bird gets blown up.
What?
Forgot to tell you. Yeah, it gets blown up. Li Shimin ejects Yiji and Zetian, and he pilots it by himself for a few moments.
Oh my god!
In a heroic display of power. Then he is
So
completely but then he's completely blown up.
Wait, is he dead?
Is he? And then they go.
He better not be Ben.
She finds these people who are loyal to the old emperor. There's a legend that the old emperor who piloted the Dragon Zord was holed up, like he had some incurable disease, and so he parked himself on a fountain of chi and froze himself solid until there was a cure. And guess what? Also, there's a cure.
Oh my god! Is she the cure?
No. There's like some pox that was rampant in these lands, and they have since. No, the cure is a vaccine. They have since manufactured it along the way.
The cure was a vaccine. I disagree, sir.
So they brought it with them because they knew they might be exposed to people in this area, some survivors who might have the pox, so they brought some with them. Well, it turns out that the Dragon Zord and the Golden Emperor are still alive. Now, the Dragon Emperor had like a power level of 1 million. Like this, like Frieza is in this mountain.
Oh shit!
Now she can't. Like she does find him. She thaws him out. And she shoots him with the cure. He melts a little. Like his face is a little more runny than you would want it to be.
Does he then try to strangle her, and then the Hesperians come along, and everyone dies, and that whole thing is just pointless?
He's generally irritated, but she's like, "Hey,
I saved you. You
it's
fucking
been like 500
dick.
years or 200 years or whatever, and there's an evil government that replaced you and didn't bother to send anyone out here to cure you.
Like needlessly evil. Like the government is being evil just to be evil. There's like no gain in it for them.
And
They're
she's
just
like,
assholes.
We need to get out there and wreck these aliens and save the Vermilion Bird. And he's like, there's no way you could pilot with me. And
too buff.
Yeah, he's like, I'd eat you. And she's like, that's right. But then she remembers. She found this out, by the way. I forgot to mention that. The yin seat has fewer connectors. So if she puts the dragon guy in the yin seat and she takes the yang seat, she might survive because it'll dampen his power just enough for her to drive.
So, okay. So that raised a few questions here. So they talked about non-binary, or like what if you identify with the opposite gender or whatever. Does it matter then? Like it doesn't matter what chair you're in as long as there are two people in those chairs and one of the chairs is at a disadvantage.
I do think there's a certain compatibility that's still required. I think she has to adjust the type of chi she channels. There's also a Pokemon-esque rock, paper, scissors system. No, there's literally like fire beats earth. Fire beats metal.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
Hang on.
Steelix is weak to fire.
Let me look. There's a chart.
All right.
Okay, let me see here. Fire beats metal. Metal beats wood. Wood beats earth. Earth beats water. Water beats fire.
Okay.
So I think she is able to channel like earth chi, and he channels water chi, and because they're on the opposite ends of the pentagram, this does kind of make a pentagram. And it literally it has a key. It has a key. And the arrow says type advantage. There's a type advantage.
Yeah,
I'm warming back up to this book. The more I talk about it, the more I think I was too harsh on Goodreads. Yeah, so they pilot the Dragon Zord back to the battle. The Dragon Zord makes short work of whatever's left. She also blows up the lady she didn't like. Then
how does she even betray them? Like,
They take her family and threaten them.
I didn't even realize she had a family. All right.
I think she might actually just shoot her in the back. Like I think it's like one of those
stab
like
me in the back, and that's how you stab me in the back.
Yeah, I think the metaphor here, but it makes more sense in this book because this book is like very blunt and and I liked it. This is all good. Everything this is all good. So the Dragon Zord flies back to the main city, and she's like, "Okay, I'm your god now. I've got the high ground. This is over."
And they leap at her, and she cuts off their limbs and leaves them to burn to death in lava.
They bring out her family, who they have taken hostage, and they're like, "If you kill us, you kill them," and she shoots her family.
I was gonna say, she's like, they're already dead. She's Kaiser Soze.
お前はもう死んでいる。何?
So then the media guy comes out and he's like, "I know my son's in there. You know, you're gonna have to back off all this nonsense because if you don't, I'll leak your nudes."
What?
He took some nudes of her as insurance.
Who is this?
This is Yiji's dad.
What the fuck?
Yeah, he had her read her media contract in the buff.
So hold on. So his plan is to try to blackmail someone after they just killed their own family to avoid being blackmailed.
Yeah. So
and he's like, if you don't stop, I'll leak your news. And so I assume she leaked her own news, and then she like tore him to pieces and ate him.
So it's
like,
it's
fuck
actually
you can't harm me because I'm just gonna do it myself and then fucking ruin.
Okay, Nate, I thought that's how this was gonna go too, but I was surprised.
Oh my god.
She hesitates for a moment and she's thinking about this very thing, like, do I care? And while she's hesitating, Yiji is like, open the door. I'll talk to him. And she's like, I don't know about this. And he's like, open the goddamn door. And so she opens the door. He pokes his head out, blasts his dad in the face with some lightning chi, kills him, and then is like, okay, let's pack it in. Let's go. I think I laughed out loud as I was reading that. And I laughed out loud as I was telling it again. I loved that scene. That was so much better than what I was thinking. So, she takes the Dragon Zord around and she flies back to tell everybody, like, you know, hey, I'm in charge now. She flies back to the battle scene to maybe look for Li Shimin's body or whatever. And that's when she finds out the space people got him. The gods came down. The gods have never let themselves be seen before, but the gods came down and they grabbed Li Shimin's corpse and they send her a FaceTime. And they're like, hey, we got your boy in a Bacta-tank here. He's missing, I think I said this to you initially, as more of his torso than one would prefer to miss. And if you want him back, like, we can heal him, but if you want him back, the old agreement needs to be preserved. Like, we'll let you play Emperor, but you still got to play by our rules. And that's how the book ends. Will Zetian play by their rules? Is sexism fixed? Find out next time on the exciting adventures of the Iron Widow. She starts playing Iron Man. So that is a very half-assed, meandering summary of Iron Widow. So if I sold you, are you going to go read Iron Widow?
It's a lot better than Thrawn. That's for sure.
You know, I think I will grant it is a lot better than Thrawn. I got a couple issues with it. Hang on, let me open up my... I actually took some notes because I anticipated this might happen. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so I took out my grading rubric. I guess I'll post the new rubric. I have an updated rubric that I cut out of the last episode. Basically, I thought this was an average book. I think I would like it more if I were younger. I think for the target audience, it is probably a very good book. I think for the man in his mid-30s, it may be just a little more juvenile.
A little too much.
A little more juvenile than you would want. But it's not bad. The plot, the ideas, they're all clear. They're all well presented. They make sense. They could have gone further in places, particularly in the feminist angle. I don't think whatever point is trying to be made about the exploitation of women ever really gets made. It's not totally unrealistic. It's just not as well developed as it could be. I would like to see a little more women helping women, I think.
Well, there's plenty of time for that in the follow-up, Ben.
Honestly, this is what I'm saying. Like, for the follow-up, what the next book would need to do to really rise higher than the first book, a little more women helping women, a little more independence from men, maybe go further with exploring the nature of gender itself, really figure out, what is yin and yang about men and women? Are they really opposites? Is it a biological thing? Is it a mental thing? Is it even a real thing? Did we make it up? Those are the things that are introduced that I don't feel are really paid off. It is a trilogy. They do have time to fix it. Not even fix it. That's not the right word. They have time to flesh this out a little bit more.
Yeah, and then the third book, if we want to keep needlessly comparing it to the Poppy War for no reason, we can find out that we needed men all along and just ruin everything.
The one thing I don't
Please
think
don't
anyone
do
can
that.
accuse this book of being is anti-man. I mean, the only people that are willing to help her with her crusade are men. So, and the two men, Li Shimin and Yi Ji, are given very favorable portrayals. I think they're even more sympathetic than the protagonist. So I don't think it's any kind of anti-man feminism. I think it's just...
I'm just messing around.
Yeah, no, but I do think that, whenever somebody has a feminist narrative, there's always going to be those guys that are like, oh, this feminism's just man-hating.
There's what I found. There's your chakra wheel from Naruto, Ben, and also whatever the fuck that thing is.
Is this a hot dog?
It looks like it's 3 hot dogs.
Okay, well, that's staying in. Yeah, organizationally, the pacing and everything, real quick. Part of the reason a lot of this wasn't developed is it's real quick. This is a short read. I read this book in 2 days.
Oh my god. Can you top Minecraft? Or top it with Minecraft? Read it in like half a day?
Yeah, I can. I'm halfway through Minecraft.
Yeah. Yeah. Does it get any better? So far it's just like, oh, he's playing the game, but
No, he just keeps playing the game. I don't mind it. I mean, for its target demographic of 4th graders, it's fine. I'm not going to dock it points for being stupid because it's for people who have underdeveloped brains. I'm not here to talk about Minecraft. I'm here to talk about Iron Widow.
Yeah.
Iron Widow needs to take its time a little more.
Widow.
Pacing can be a little slower. I don't say that about many things. I don't offer that criticism lightly. When I tell you a book can go slower, you're going very fast.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I think personal preference. It's okay. I like the giant robot parts. I'm obviously not a polyamorous bisexual teenager, but I did like the romance. I liked the romance more between the two guys than between the three of them, to be honest. And it had nothing to do with polyamory. That had everything to do with Zetian is really mean. And I wouldn't want to hang out with her, but For whatever reason, they're enamored. She is better by the end. She shows a little bit more appreciation for them, and she's a little more like she knows. Once she knows who her allies are, she lets down her walls a little, and she's a little bit better. So I think that goes back to just develop the romance a little bit more, and I'll be happy. And recommendation. Think it would be good for anybody who's into the young adult stuff if you hear Pacific Rim meets Handmaid's Tale and that sounds interesting to you, that's what you get. Just be warned. It's like if Handmaid's Tale was written by the guy who wrote Pacific Rim.
All right, wrap it up, Ben. Where can we buy us a coffee and follow us on the Twitters and shit?
You can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/WABpod, which, by the way, we have been reading your notes on buymeacoffee.com. They are appreciated. You do not have to buy us a coffee to leave us a note, though. You can check us out on Twitter at WABpod. You can check us out on Instagram at Words About Books Podcast. You can email us at wordsaboutbookspod@gmail.com or at wordsaboutbookspodcast@gmail.com. Because I mispronounced it so many times, we registered both and they're forwarded to each other. So there you go. There's also a blog.wordsaboutbooks.ninja. I have been posting pretty regularly over there, so check that out if you love my hot takes. You usually say something at the end.
Oh. Meow. Hey, for editing purposes, I'm turning off my fan now.
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
That makes absolutely no difference.
Pretty sure you wanted to do noise reduction, right? You just do it.
I'm just going to do it on the whole thing, and if the second half sounds terrible, then
okay,
that's on you.